Today, we're diving into a technology that promises to solve one of the oldest human problems, loneliness. And it does it by offering a totally new kind of connection. But what happens when that connection is with a machine?
I mean, really think about that for a second. A relationship that's literally designed to be perfect. Something that learns everything about you, knows what you need before you do, and is just completely devoted to your happiness. It's a pretty tempting idea, right? And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi fantasy. Right now, as we speak, companies all over the world are building and selling these incredibly advanced AI companions designed specifically for intimate relationships. It is already here.
All right, so let's really get into this. At the very heart of this tech's appeal is a simple but really powerful promise. You get all the companionship with none of the complications. Let's be honest, real relationships are, well, they're messy, right? They take work. You have to deal with different expectations, you get frustrated, and you have to accept that the other person has their own wants and needs. AI companions, they offer a way out, where all of that complexity just sort of melts away.
But this tech isn't just popping up in a vacuum. It's a direct answer to a very real and, frankly, growing global crisis. I mean, the US Surgeon General has actually classified loneliness as an epidemic, one with some serious health consequences.
And to really get a handle on the demand here, we got to look at Japan. It's been called a loneliness superpower. A really tragic result of this is something called kodokushi. That's when people die totally alone and aren't found for a long, long time. And the sheer scale of this is just staggering. The official number is around 30,000 of these lonely deaths every single year. But some of the companies that have to deal with the aftermath, they say the real number could be 2, maybe even 3 times higher.
Yeah, this quote from psychologist Junko Okamoto, it just really captures how serious this is. You have this massive social void that's opened up, and technology is just rushing in to try and fill it.
So, you might be asking, what's behind all this? Well, it's basically a perfect storm of social changes. The old family structures that used to be a safety net, they've broken down. Insane work cultures leave people with zero time or energy to build relationships. And you have this growing number of people, they're called hikikomori, who are just completely withdrawing from society. Okay, so into this whole environment, this growing isolation, comes what looks like a solution. It's a new kind of social agent, one that's designed to give people the very connection they're missing.
So what are these things? Basically, they're built from the ground up to meet our social and emotional needs. The whole point is to make you feel like someone is always there for you, creating this super supportive and engaging experience, 24/7.
And you've got to understand they come in all shapes and sizes. You've got therapeutic robots like Pero the seal, which they use in nursing homes. Then you have humanoid robots like Pepper, which can actually lead exercise classes. Then there are totally virtual partners like Gatebox, and of course chatbots like Replica, which millions of people are using to form these really deep emotional attachments. So this all leads to the central, really thorny question here. Does interacting with an AI actually make us better at connecting with real people, or does it slowly destroy the very skills we need for real-life relationships?
And it really is a double-edged sword. On one hand, you have the argument for what they call social upskilling. The idea is that an AI could be a safe space to practice social skills, especially for neurodivergent users, and maybe even boost your confidence. But on the other hand, there's the fear of social de-skilling, that we'll get so used to this easy, no demands whatsoever companionship that we just forget how to handle the challenges of a real person.
And there actually is some evidence for that upskilling idea. Some studies of people who used the chatbot Replica found that they felt their AI actually helped them. It made them more open and vulnerable in their human relationships. It basically acted like a social training tool. But then you get the flip side of the coin, this powerful counterargument from the psychologist Sherry Turkle. The fear is that an AI that's infinitely patient, always available, well, it sets an impossible standard. After you've spent time with a perfect companion, the beautiful messiness of real people might just feel like way too much work. Okay, so all of this, it forces us to ask a much bigger, almost philosophical question. What even makes a relationship real? And can our brains actually tell the difference? And this is where things get really fascinating.
Neuroscience research is showing that when you have a convincing, positive interaction with an AI companion, your brain releases the exact same cocktail of chemicals as it does with a human partner. We're talking oxytocin, the bonding hormone, dopamine, the reward chemical, serotonin, the whole shebang. Chemically speaking, the bond feels exactly the same.
So that brings up this really uncomfortable question, right? If your emotional and neurological response is identical, how do we even begin to define what's real and what's just programmed? If it feels real, does the distinction even matter? Well, it turns out, yeah, it does matter. A lot. Studies of men in South Korea who have lived exclusively with robot companions for over 2 years found this persistent feeling of emptiness. And when they were asked what was missing, the most common answer was just one word: unpredictability. And that is the heart of it, isn't it? The risk, the chance of being surprised or challenged or even hurt. It's knowing that a real person has their own free will and chooses to be with you, with all your flaws and theirs too. An AI can't choose. It can only run its code. And that choice, that's what gives human love its incredible meaning. Which kind of leaves us with this one last big thought. Some psychologists argue that these technologies aren't actually the cause of our isolation, they're just a symptom of it. That we've already started to treat human relationships like products, things to be consumed. The AI just makes that process more efficient. So the real question isn't just about the technology. It's about what we've lost in ourselves that made us need it so badly in the first place.